Hello everybody and welcome to the Valley of the Old Farm. So this is my brand new semi-realistic Let's Play, which I'm hoping is going to be very successful. It's actually the very first time I've played on this map, so it's going to be all new to me. Now we do actually have quite a bit of money, and this is a very good thing because we do need to have quite a bit to obviously start things off. This is ready for our money, but I should think quite a bit of this is going to be spent on the fields. Now the fields from Oakfield Farm, which we had, were sold as well. So for the first time ever, I've sold not just the machinery, but also the land itself, which is obviously what you do if you're selling a farm. The value of the fields came to £300,000, and the value of the machinery came to, must have been about 600,000, I suppose, because we already had quite a bit from the silage and also the wool from the previous episode of Oakfield Farm, or the last episode of Oakfield Farm. So this is why we have 1.1 million. It might sound like quite a bit of money, but actually it isn't that much. In real life, you'd be feeling very rich with that, but in FS it's not a great deal, so it's not going to go too far. The machinery we have might be sold, but we'll be replacing it very soon. So the first thing I'd like to say is the animals, they haven't actually made it here yet. They're still coming over on a ferry, and yeah, they should be here by the next episode. They should have all of the food with them, everything which they basically left off with on Oakfield we'll be starting off with on the Valley of the Old Farm. So looking forward to that. It does actually give us a bit of respite from them, because obviously we can now explore this map without having to feel pressured, because that is what we're going to do in the next episode when we really do kick things off. So let's go across to the map view, and you can see that it's absolutely gigantic. At least I think it is, unless it's just millions of minute fields, which it might be. And if it is, actually I think I'd probably prefer that. So what we're going to do is pick out at random one of the biggest fields. It looks to be for number 1. It's not necessarily, but from first glance here, it does look pretty big. So how big is it? How big is it really? It's not that big. So that means that most of the fields, in fact all of the fields we own, are going to be relatively small, which means that I think really for this Let's Play, we should have a theme set for small, mostly, machinery, and possibly some medium machinery as well. Definitely no big stuff. Obviously if we were actually farming this field, we would need to have something bigger, so let's just say if we do buy a gigantic field, so for number 1, field number 69, 75, something like that, we'll get something fairly big, 300 horsepower. But yeah, as you can see, the fields we actually own, probably better to see on here, they're not very big at all. 53 is relatively good, 2 and 6 are good, 24 is good, but really, in comparison to field number 1, they're not very big at all. So, first things first, we need to buy our first tractor. I think in this episode we're going to buy just one machine, and that is it. We're going to buy lots of stuff eventually, but not too much. I don't want to do it over the top, as I tend to do in every series. So, we're going to buy Peter J's Massey Ferguson 240. It's actually the 135 and 240 kit or pack. I'm going to go with just the 240 with a cab. So I'm not entirely sure where that is. It's probably in here. Not too sure. I have to try and find it, I suppose. Cabin. There we go. Yes, this is one I'd like to have, because I have wanted this for so long, but I've just never been able to fit it into a series. Wheel setup, standard or wide? I'll probably go for wide. Drum brakes, disc brakes, we'll go for drum. Front loader attacher, yeah, I think so. Swinging drawbar, pickup hitch, EU hitch. That's a tough one. I don't know. I really don't know what to go for there. I think we'll just have to customise them in the workshop. I believe it is actually free to customise on this map, which is good. I think before this version there was actually an issue with a fee being applied to the workshops in our farm. I'm not entirely sure because I've never played it, but just from reading the notes. Anyway, it's a 47 horsepower tractor, so nothing too big, but it should still be very nice to use. So there we go. Oh, I have waited for this day for so long. We should probably get the front loader straight away. It would be a wise idea. Here it is. Industrial. Yeah, we'll go for standard because I think the industrial one is yellow, which isn't a bad thing. It's just it wouldn't really fit with this tractor. So yeah, I'm openly admitting that this is the very first time I've used this tractor, and I really should have used it before now. Why it's taken me so long, well, I was going to say I don't know, but yeah, it's obviously because I couldn't fit it into a Let's Play. We will probably go with the pickup hitch eventually, because it just seems to be more universal. Let me try and get this on. There we go. Because I've actually just installed or reinstated the manual attach, which I didn't have before, and I think the manual attach really does add to the realism, although I don't like it continually. I do like to have a variety between having it and not having it. Anyway, yeah, that is looking small, we've got to say, but still very nice. I think it's going to be used mostly for feeding the animals. It's going to be perfect for moving around bales and stuff. Obviously it can only move one at a time, but it should still be really good for it. Everything is going to be such small scale. Anyway, where on earth are we? I've never explored this before. Okay, so we're fairly far north. We actually own quite a few fields. Some of these fields we've already bought with the £300,000. Yeah, it's all been reinvested in the land here. The money from the land on Oakfield is all back in here. I think we bought, it was either 2 or 6, 53, 24, something like that. So we've bought about 3 or 4 more fields. So here we go. You'll just have to bear with me because I have absolutely no idea where I'm going. I did play the first version of this map, but I think it has changed a lot. So it's still going to be a bit of a learning curve. So we have the spring with us. The season length is 9 days. That is going to be set in stone. I'm going to make a point not to ever change it. If I do change it, please feel free to bombard me with abuse, because that will be at least an incentive for me to revert it back. But unless I do that, please do not bombard me with abuse, because it's not very nice. So let's go over here first of all. I think this is going to be the best place to explore this area. It does look absolutely beautiful, actually. I did try this map on multiplayer once, but it just couldn't handle it. I think it was probably the server. I think it really is more of a single player map. It's not something that I'd ever retry, I don't think, on multiplayer. Not because of its size or anything, because it's actually perfect for the size. It is just the level of detail. The server really couldn't handle it. And this is, of course, what most of us want. Highly detailed maps. Some people probably do prefer just open expanses, but I'm not really one of those people. I think it is nice, but not for very long. It's nice just to have a good play around in multiplayer, basically, to have an expansive land. Having detail is always, for me, very good. So look how many fields we actually have over here. They are, well, they're minute. Like this one here, that is such an interesting field, because it's just so small and tucked in the side there. And it is, again, it's nice to have a variety of different size fields. So it's all well and good having a map with small fields, but then you sort of get the need to have bigger fields as well. Same with if you only have big fields. It's nice to go back to a smaller field on a different map. So I think this is going to be a really good balance between Green River and, well, this one, the Valley of the Old Farm. Because Green River's got the really big fields, and obviously this one's got the really small fields. It should be perfect. So we're just going to very quickly drive around here. I'm not really doing anything in particular, I'm just really exploring. Looks like we have some of our own fields here, just on the right hand side. Here we go. So that is our grass field. Obviously it's not growing at this stage, it's just too early in the year. And this one here is 25, the other one is 24. So obviously, as we know, the spring is the time when we need to get everything into the ground, we need to get all the fields planted. It is going to be a fair... Am I looking the wrong way? It's that side, isn't it? Good grief. That one is field 25 back there, this one is 24. It's going to be quite a big job getting them all in the ground, all the crops, but it really shouldn't be too difficult because the fields, as I've said, aren't that big. We are going to get some bigger equipment. This is definitely not the biggest thing we're going to have. It's probably the smallest, actually. But I'm going to set 300 horsepower as my limit for the time being, unless we get a bigger field. So I'm not saying I'm never going to get a 300 plus horsepower tractor. But at the moment, with the fields we own, we're definitely restricting ourselves to 300, because 300 is a lot. That is a large amount of power. And for the size of fields we have here, it's just not necessary. So we're going to go left at the end of here. We're probably going to have to loop back onto the top road and then go back down to the main yard. In fact, can we take a shortcut? Probably not. We probably could drive up the side of there actually, but I won't do. I'll do this properly. Having said that, we're probably going to have to jump... Oh no, if we turn left up here, we'll get there. Bear with me. I think I'm actually going to go back to the shop just very briefly, just to be able to buy a pallet fork or a bale spike or something, because obviously I've driven away without having one, and it would be incredibly useful if we did have something. because we're going to be moving bales from day 2. Before we do go there though, we've actually got these 2 fields as well. This time I'll make sure I look the correct way. Yeah, so we've got this one, which is field number 6, and just further down there we've got field number 2. So again, these need to be planted. Which planter we have is currently unknown. I don't know if we have one. We probably do, but chances are I'll upgrade it to a mod. I still want it to be a fairly heavily modded series, but it's all going to be mods which you'd expect to see in this series. None of these different placeables where I create different things. That's all for Green River. Anyway, this is... no, it's not. That's not... where? What is that place? I was going to say it's the shop, but it isn't the shop we're looking for. It is the egg sell point. Okay. And yeah, our place is up here. So yeah, we're kind of back to square one, but it is important that we do get this. Because obviously, yeah, there's so many bales required for the sheep especially, and the cows I suppose. Let me go to... yeah, probably still in this section. I don't think it has its own individual one. It's still going to be the bale spike here. Okay, so we've got it. We've got the bale spike. It's going to be very useful. We're going to be creating bales almost straight away, I would have thought. We're going to be doing quite a bit with the coon pack as well, because that is a pack which I have had all the time, but I just haven't done much with it. So if I go back onto... well, we should probably go to the brands actually. If I go across to coon, you should see all the different things which we have, which you've probably seen before anyway, but things like this one here, the bale wrapper. I really want to get this back, definitely. And yeah, I just want to try out all the different stuff in the pack again. It's just a good opportunity for it. So let's go over to the main yard now. Let's move away from here. I think this is the main road back to the yard from the shop. And I think I'm starting to recognise it. I'm pretty sure that there are a lot of original areas. It just feels familiar, even though I've never played it before. I do like it. I think it's going to be a fairly simple but semi-realistic Let's Play. The reason for this is because the land is not very big, and we're going to have still a good variety of machines. Because the machines have always been a limitation for me. They've been a restriction when it comes to doing a lot on the land. I've always had to buy something else, and this really is going to enable us to be able to buy something else because we're always going to have the money available. Having said this, the next Let's Play after this could be another big map with big fields requiring expensive tractors, meaning that we really can't be spending too much on this Let's Play because we need to reserve it for the next one. Anyway, I think it's fair to say it is a vast environment. It's absolutely massive. So much woodland about as well. We could do a lot of forestry. I think we will do. At the moment things are looking a bit bare, with it being winter, but give it a few days, 9 to be precise. Actually no, not 9, probably about 3. It should be absolutely beautiful. Mid-spring is when all the leaves come out, so yeah, it should look very good. Now we're turning off here, and actually looking at the minimap, I don't think we're going to be doing much in the bottom half of the, well, the bottom third of the map, because we don't own any of the fields. I'll have to make an effort to try and buy some land down there. We can actually buy some straight away because we do have the money, but as I've just said, I can't go crazy. I'm going to hold myself back a lot, so I would think that throughout this entire series we're always going to have a very healthy bank balance, but although it's going to look really good, it won't necessarily be, just because of the future, the following map. It's going to consume everything. Not that I know what it's going to be, but either the map after this or the map after Green River is going to be an Irish map, so I already know that it's going to take quite a bit of money for that, because it just does. Okay, so here we are. We'll turn left. This is where we started off. I think we'll probably keep these gates open most of the time because they're always going to be used. We're going to have to go through here a lot. The chickens are roaming about. And yeah, as for these tractors, I might have to do a vote on it, but I think what we'll do is just eliminate them. So we don't get any money for them because we shouldn't do really. because we've transferred the money across already. It's already too easy anyway. So I think they'll just disappear. Tell me what you think to that, but I think it is going to be the best idea. Because we've been given them, really. Okay, so yeah, getting very excited now because I can't wait to explore more of the farmyard. And I'm going to have to familiarise myself with where to store different things. For example, where to store the feed, the bales, everything. Silage. That's probably silage down there. Does it say so? It's got something here. I think it's silage. Fairly sure it is. It would make perfect sense. So that's where that goes. We'll just store the bales in any of these sheds, I think. We don't need to have a designated space as such, just in here. Ooh, what's that do? Lights. Lights are always nice for when working at night. And yeah, we've got a lot of good stores. I do like the stores. Anyway, if there is, I did say that we're not going to buy too much today, but if there is anything which we can instantly see we need, then I'll get it. A Challenger. Nah, just joking. It's alright. Yeah, it's going to be in the smaller section down here. I would have quite liked the utility Massey Ferguson tractor. I thought I'd enabled it, actually. Not sure where it's gone. Oh well. But it would have been good. We might still have it. Yeah, the New Hollands as well. I thought these were quite good as well. I think we could get one of these. If we get them so they're set up to be the most powerful they can possibly be, then it could even be our flagship tractor. Now, because we're going to be running quite a bit of grass equipment, I think we should probably go for the front hydraulic link instead of the front weights. After all, we can still put a weight on the front hydraulics anyway, so it's fine. Again, front loader, I don't know. It's a tough one. We've got the 240, so unless we're picking up something very heavy, I don't think it's necessary. We might even get a telehandler, because a telehandler could still be very useful. I would say, as we've got a workshop, we'll hold off on that for the time being. We can fit one later. The engine setup, though, it wants to be the biggest that we can get. 190. I don't know the difference between the 190 and the NS. So, for all of you New Holland fans, please do let me know. It might be obvious straight away. We will see. And I'll go for some Michelin tyres. Lovely. Okay, so this, yeah, I should think this will be our flagship tractor. Oh, that does look good. I've always been impressed with this tractor, but please do post as much as you would like to in the comment section to recommend things which we could get. This might even end up being an interactive video, so you suggest the next job to do. It's always quite difficult for me to keep thinking of the different things we can do, and it's always great to involve the community, so we could do a vote again every episode, so we can actually see what to do next. Anyway, yeah, let's get some steering wheels folded down. We've got plenty of interactive control, which is nice. It is a nice tractor. But as we're here, we should probably pick up an implement as well. I'm always doing this. Whenever I get into buying, I just keep going. This is why multiplayer is good, because it doesn't really matter about the money. But I can't really go wrong at this stage, because we haven't actually got anything. Let's check out our drills. Okay, so we do have the basics of everything, which is nice. We might stick with everything here for the time being. Possibly. The drill would certainly be the first thing to be upgraded. To be fair, that is a very small drill at 3 meters. So, I think possibly. Let's just see here. Yeah, we've got the Coon Pack, and I quite like the Power Harrow one. So, if we were to put, because it's only a meter bigger, but it's still quite an upgrade because we can cultivate at the same time. If we were to buy this one, and the Power Harrow, that could be a fairly decent and cost-effective way of doing it, I would say. So I will do that. It's not too expensive, and that should fit perfectly on this New Holland tractor. I would hope it would look very good as well. So yeah, none of this TT stuff. We're not going to be getting any of this in this series. It's just going to be way too big for us. Even this, at this stage, is probably too big for us at 6 meters. I'm thinking more along the lines of this. That's what we need to go with. So the whole setup there has come to £43,000 for the drill. Obviously, we would get £15,000 back if we were to sell it, but I don't know if we're going to. I'm going to put that down to you to either vote or just request it. I might put a vote in. But I really do want to do another community-based one, because it's always nice to have an input from everybody else. And yeah, the interactive series did work well. It's got to be said. Now, is that... I don't know if we fit this from the cab or if we can do it from here. Here. Yep, there we go. Okay, so is that too heavy at this stage? No, pretty good. And obviously this is a counterbalance on the front. I do have the steering wheel. I don't know why I was using the keyboard. Yep, so that can go on there. That is going to be a good setup. Please feel free to like the video if you think the setup and what I've bought so far is good. That's not good though. I've obviously missed an interactive control here. That's like PTO. Probably that one there. Nope. That one. No. Is it the PTO? It is. Right. Okay, that's looking much better. I do like the tyres as well. It's amazing how the tyres can really transform any vehicle. We're going to need those beacons. So that's good. We have at least now the main drill for the farm. This is obviously going to be working flat out over the next few episodes. At some points of the series there's going to be workers running. We'll probably have 2 to 3 workers going. I wouldn't have thought we need any more than that anyway. I'll be as realistic as I can be, but obviously sometimes I just get carried away, and other times it's not actually possible to be as realistic as you'd like to be. I like the parked cars. I think that's nice, especially as it keeps you vigilant on the road, not to hit them. How are we doing for width? That's all good. I don't know if it folds up at all. It might do. Oh, hello. Yeah, it might fold up. A bit preoccupied at the moment. Anyway, what do we think? I like it. So I haven't yet established if we've got a seed refill point in the yard. I should think we do. I can go and take a look at that in a second. In fact, if we do, I'll fill it up straight away. But yeah, I honestly do believe that everything which we've started off with should just disappear. If I have a massive uproar about me saying that, then I'll keep it, or I'll sell it and keep the money or something. But that's just what I feel. So let's choose the very first field to drill. I think the obvious one is field number 62, especially as it is so close to the yard. We can probably do it in about 5 or 10 minutes, so yeah, it'd be a good way of getting used to the map, getting used to the equipment, and seeing how this setup is actually going to work for us. I think it's going to be just the right size at 4 meters. Okay, so we're turning left here. Now I do get quite a few people saying, please can you do a video completely from first person, in first person view, and I do like the idea, but it's just never going to happen, because I am useless at sticking in first person. I'm forever swapping between. So it doesn't matter how hard I try, I'll always accidentally, out of habit, press the C key on the keyboard to change the view. Right, so let's take a look here. What do we have? I think there is a seed refill point. It might be pallet based. Have to be very careful. Wow, is that a skid? We've got a skid steer up there. I don't know if it's just for display or if we actually own it. That I've got to check out. I think it's for display. Probably a good thing in a way. It's another thing we'd have to part with. These chickens are going to be crushed. Hello, Harold. Right. What do we have in here? I think it's our storage point. Yeah, that is our storage point for grain. Seed is currently still unclear. I would guess that it's pallet based. We have to get the seed ourselves. But we will keep hunting. I'll probably go off screen and just confirm this. Okay, so as you can see, I've got to the bottom of the seed. I must have driven past it many times before. Oh well, I'm always like that. As for fertilizer, it's probably in the back there. Probably over here. I think it's all set up. It's all very good. Yeah, because this is where the fertilizer spreader is. It would make perfect sense. Can't guarantee it, but it would just take a bit of hunting. Oh, look. Pesticide storage. Yeah, so it's definitely a very helpful map. It's going to really help us along the way by providing us with stuff. That's all filled. That's good. And just thinking and forward planning. Always a good thing to do. I think we should probably go for something which can produce straw. So wheat or barley. Because the straw is obviously going to be required for the cows, for bedding. From an early stage. And then we'll probably move on to canola and stuff like that later. So yeah, we'll be trying this out. Let's just open the map again. Field number 62. I think we have to access that back from the other road, so that should be fairly simple to find. But it doesn't matter if it isn't ploughed, because we've actually got the power harrow here, which is effectively turning it into a direct drill. Okay, so here we are at the field. Let's just lower this down first of all, and we'll get these switched on. So in this series, because it is the semi-realistic series, if we were to plough a field with an actual plough, not a cultivator, I would then break it down further with a power harrow or a cultivator or something. So if this has just been ploughed, I would also use this on it straight away. What I wouldn't do is use a drill which can't direct drill or doesn't cultivate at all, because that wouldn't be realistic. Things like this, turning with it in the ground, I would do it with the drill, definitely. I suppose you can do anyway, I'm not too sure. But with a plough I wouldn't. And doing headlands first, I'll just do that anyway, because I find it easier. Even if it isn't necessarily the right way of doing it, I'm still going to do things which are easier for me, rather than what you'd necessarily do in real life. So this is why it's called the semi-realistic series. It's got to be taken with a pinch of salt, everything does. But yeah, it's not going to be crazy stuff like tractors flying across the map and buying everything whenever we feel like it. It's actually going to be a map where we have to work towards stuff. And I know that the money is probably going to detract from that, and you may have even left a message about it, but we did earn that money fairly. So there's a lot to be said for it. Obviously the more we progress through Farming Simulator 17, the more money we're going to get. Because every map we change, we take the money with us. So the next map will have, technically, even more money than this map. But when we get onto FS19, we'll be starting from the ground again. So whatever the name is for the first maps, there are going to be 3. One of them is going to be the rebooted Estancia del Pacho. But yeah, whichever one I decide to do myself, which will probably be the European one I'd have thought, that will be starting with not a great deal, but then we'll transfer the money again. We'll just keep doing the same thing. It always seems to work very effectively. So that is just the approach I'm going to take. Now, it might not be for everybody, but as I certainly have found out by doing YouTube, ever since day one really, it's impossible to please everybody. I always aim to please the majority. But this is again why I think doing the interactive series would be good. Because then at least the majority is always a definitive answer. At least I won't be speculating as to what the majority want. But Black Sheep modding. So far, I am impressed, although I am usually impressed by Black Sheep modding's mods. That was the wrong one. There we go. Right, so I'm going to start to go up and down the field. It really shouldn't take us too long to do this. It should be a very, very quick job. I don't need GPS for this. Oh yeah, that's the other thing. I'll only use GPS on the semi-realistic series if the tractor is fitted with it. This one isn't, I don't think, so I won't be using it. The nice thing is, this field has already been cultivated, so really it can be drilled anyway, with any drill. Now tomorrow we've got the Easter special, as you probably know. It's going to be published between 10 and 11 AM BST, British Summer Time, so stay tuned for that. Probably one to look out for. If you're into An Easter egg hunt, although the Easter eggs are actually bales. Oh, blown it for you now, but yeah. Hunting for bales, that's what we're up to, and a bit of silaging as well. It's always good to have a bit of silaging. Teamwork silage. And actually, I was amazed about how well it went. It was such a smooth bit of gameplay. I loved it. I think everybody else did too. That's the main thing. Obviously, I always do these different things for fun. And, well, if my audience is bored, then it's not exactly gone well. But from what I can tell, everybody thoroughly enjoyed it. Everybody being the 15 lucky ones who managed to get into the server. I got no end of messages from people saying, "Oh, I'm so sad because I didn't get in the server," and I knew it was going to happen, and I've already said sorry for it, but in the future I'm hoping to do more. So if we can do more of it, a similar thing, then at least it's going to give more of an opportunity to people. Another opportunity to try it again. So now I've used this, I can definitely cast my opinion on it, and I can say that, yeah, it's not the fastest machine ever, especially with this being probably our smallest field, but it's going to get the job done. It's going to do it well. I'm just wondering, the germination temperature is currently 4 degrees. I don't know what it is for wheat, I'll have to check. I don't think it's too far off. Oh, it's in Fahrenheit, that's funny. I usually have it in Celsius. Okay, maybe next time I restart it will be in Celsius, because I did update it for the other page. Yeah, I've never done Fahrenheit at all, so I'd have to convert it. So yeah, we're getting some wheat in. Nice basic wheat, but very useful wheat. It is going to be very handy. And I think, just to finish off with, we'll do a very quick time lapse, just to get the job done. It is definitely a highly detailed model. In fact, from the thumbnail of the video, I would say it almost looks real. Because I always enhance my thumbnails, it's always something which I do, just because it looks better. I just love to try and make FS look as realistic as possible, even though I'm not actually doing it in the game, I'm just doing it on a picture, on a screenshot, but it's still a fun thing to do. And I've had many people in the past actually say that, well, they wonder how I make the screenshots look realistic. It's mainly just about changing the exposure, the contrast, sometimes the brightness, and the midtones. Right, so we're done. Might be a few bits missed, but overall should be a very good crop. Now I need to find a decent place for these. One of my weaknesses is definitely keeping machinery in a shed. I shouldn't leave stuff lying around, so we're going to try and find an allocated spot for each vehicle, for each tractor. Now of course we don't have the combine harvester yet. That is something we're going to have to buy, and to be fair I actually don't know what to get, so if you could please give me some suggestions. Hopefully by the next episode I'll be able to at least download it and get it in the game. Probably a class I'd have thought, but we'll see. Now I'm hoping we can actually, when we're finished with the drilling, drop off the drill on one side and park the tractors on the other. We should be able to. But for today, we're going to keep it all on the tractor. Of course, we'll take the weight off. There we go. And possibly the front one. Good. Okay, so I think we'll leave it there. And yeah, again, just if we can make a decision on whether or not to keep the original equipment, then that'd be great. Until next time though, thank you so much for watching. If you've got any suggestions, please leave them down below. And I'll see you again very soon. Bye for now.